So, like I mentioned, the pachinko machine in that previous video, these are just some screenshots from the pachinko machine, kind of demonstrating the Fox engine back when it was like a new thing that came out. It was also supposed to help promote the pachinko machine. It's just grabbing a few of these to kind of show you how some of the characters will most likely appear. Some of them might change just due to like I guess improvement of technology and whatnot since the release of the pachinko machine. That would be around, what is it, 8 years now? I think it is, because it got released in like I think October 2016. Now it's 2023. Oh, so like 7 years, almost. We're 7 years, almost 8 years, I guess. But obviously, Snake's got his own team too. He meets he meets Eva, which she's kind of like on your side, kind of not on your side. Kind of had a thing with Snake. Obviously, uh, we'll definitely see her later, not later in the game, but like later in the series. I don't know if they're gonna do kind of like what I guess Resident Evil did with their, not necessarily the remakes, but like bringing back the old ones. Like obviously they're bringing back Metal Gear Solid as Metal Gear Solid Delta, so who knows if there's going to be some changes, especially with the wokeness and whatnot. Really hope they don't really ruin any of these characters, because some of them, even with their quirky designs or their behaviors, kind of help make the game be the game. But obviously, along with Eva, he also had his own team. So here kind of shows off a little bit of his team. You can't really. I wouldn't say this was a good one. There aren't many images, or at least from the trailer that I saw, that you could see of his team. But you got Major Zero up there at top, and then Paramedic right there on the right, and Sigit having those conversations with them, like Sigit, for instance, or Paramedic when you're saving and whatnot. I always thought those were kind of fun to do. It would probably take me a while to continue with the game, because I'd be so busy just trying to find out like all the different diet, not necessarily find out the dialogues, but just going through all of them just because of how fun it was. But obviously, this is kind of supposed to be in the beginning of the game, at least that portion, because if you remember the virtuous mission where he's gonna jump off the airplane, one thing I noticed that never happened that I wish happened was that you can actually like unlock this outfit, you know what I mean, or at least like the helmet and the straps. Just because I thought it was cool. I thought it would be a nice little like kind of like an Easter egg. You know how they had the, what was those, the curatans, the frogs, like, but instead, as soon as you land, you just kind of turn around, go back, and you can grab the equipment. Kind of how they had some kind of like hidden items in some of their later games, like I think four had something where you can, if you went around a corner, you could find like a controller that lets you do something or something. I don't remember, sorry. But anyways, moving on. Let's move on from that, because this is kind of what I also wanted to get to. Obviously, the hat was one of the more, I guess, comedic features to the game. Just kind of running around with a crocodile helmet was something that to blend in with the crocodiles, and then maybe even fool some of the soldiers. I remember seeing a little parody video of this, and I don't know. It's super fun. This is the kind of thing where I said like the quirkiness to the game that just kind of made it the game. I really hope that we kind of get a little bit more of that. Maybe they'll add in some new stuff. It doesn't have like I would like the remake to be true to the original, but if they do end up changing things or adding some stuff in, that it doesn't detract from the essence of what the original was. We also have, what's his name? Good old Revolver Ocelot. Although, if I remember correctly, he was using, I think it was pistols in the beginning, but then you have that first fight with him, and your Snake tells him like, "Oh yeah, with the way you're shooting, you'd be much better with a revolver." Uh, The one thing the one thing that I will find kind of funny is if they bring back the I think it was a meow or a roar. I think it was supposed to be like a roar, but it was like a meow when you first meet him. It was like super weird, but for some reason, that's like his thing. It's still cool, doing the juggling with the three guns. That was still cool, and I'm actually glad that he kind of had something like that going throughout his entire time, like coming showing up in games like in Metal Gear Solid 5 and whatnot. But I do want to move on just because this is actually going a lot longer. I just kind of, like I said, I kind of wanted to show this off so that way we can all kind of see what we could expect. Obviously, right here, the Shadowhawk, that like kind of vehicle mission, I guess, because she's driving and your Snake shooting the Shadowhawk and the other soldiers kind of chasing you. It was definitely something that I would like to kind of see done. Maybe you can maybe a little differently because you kind of had that with Metal Gear Solid 5 with the man on the fiery horse in the beginning. Uh, it's definitely one thing that's going to be fun. I never realized that there was always something kind of like that in some of the Metal Gear Solid games, but that kind of reminded me of it, seeing this again. But like I said, moving on. Don't want to stick to it. It's already going a little bit longer than I was expecting. But right here, I did want to show this off. The Cobra unit. There wasn't really anything for the Sorrow. He's right there in the top left corner. The Sorrow, the Fear, the Fury, the Boss, and then bottom you got the End and the Pain. I'm definitely going to be curious as to what they'll do for the pain, or not the pain, the End, because if you remember, you had the option of being able to beat him before his boss fight by being somewhat quick, but you gotta go to that little like dock area that I believe it was him and the Fear were at. But if you're quick to shoot him with the RPG or rocket, whatever it was, and he like dies and then blows up, and you gotta watch out for his wheel from his wheelchair, or you can just uh, go to your calendar, move the time up, and then he dies just because you take too long to beat him according to the game. I don't know, the stuff like that, the quirkiness that they had in that game. I really hope to see again. Obviously, when you're fighting the pain, every time you got hit by one of his hornets, you had to go into the menu and peel that off. Otherwise, you'll just keep on losing health. I definitely want to know if they'll kind of make changes to that. Just because you know how they have that like kind of like weapon wheel for Metal Gear Solid 5. I wonder if they're gonna have something similar for, I guess, removing the hornets, or if you got to go back to that menu, take it off and do it that old fashioned way. Which it's still okay by me. I was just this is what I mean by saying, by what I said earlier about the different changes that could come to the game. And of course, right here is a better look for these four. However, there wasn't one for the Sorrow, which was kind of surprising to me, but it also might be because he wasn't featured in the trailer that, or at least featured like this in the trailer that these four appeared in. But with that said, as you know, there's also the boss. And obviously, with this image, I kind of wanted to have, because it was that iconic final battle where you have to fight the boss to the death. And it was kind of sad because at the end of the fight you had to pull the trigger, and it was a great feature. Definitely made you feel like it was you were part of the narrative, but also sad when you know literally in this situation right here, Snake is standing over the boss's body and you have to pull the trigger to kill her. And then when you do, everything, all the flowers turn red, kind of signifying, that she is dead. She did fall. Um, like I said, these images kind of showed just, it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't really going through the whole story. I just kind of added those at the end to kind of help, I guess, show off the way it could appear in game. And then obviously the different fights, or the different animals that you have to find throughout. Just obviously this was after at the end there when you're kind of paying tribute to the boss. But it's stuff like that that I'm the mark of the McCore. That's what it was. Sorry, it's stuff like that that I definitely hope that we kind of get to re-experience again, or for new players kind of see how it was in the beginning. I feel like this is definitely a game that will most likely want players wanting more, as far as like, hey, yeah, we had the HD collection, or maybe I didn't have the HD collection. Let's go back to it. And with that, I did want to leave this kind of like a not necessarily open ended, but just kind of like I'm gonna keep my eyes out just to see if there's anything else. If as far as the Delta information for Delta coming out, if anything does come out, I'll definitely report that. Like I mentioned in the first video, it's not necessarily something that I want to do as far as like what I want to do with videos. I don't want it to be a whole video game channel. I'll definitely add in other stuff. This is just one that I'll follow because it was a game that I really liked and enjoyed playing. But other than that, thank you for listening. And if you didn't like it, thanks for tolerating me, and I'll see you next time.